Good morning, good morning. On this fine Wednesday, it is the 29th of January 2025. I trust you are all well and that you are interested in yet another talk on the topic of biblical prophecy. I've been busy with a few videos on that topic, and I'm going to continue today. The last time I was talking about Jesus Christ. He's the person of Jesus Christ. In other words, I wanted to dispel certain notions about who we're talking about in the book of Revelations, and that we needed to fully understand really the position and the power and the glory of Jesus Christ in this whole matter. I touched on his name and his appearance. Now, regarding his name, we here in the West refer to him as Jesus, but the original name has been changed, Yeshua, in the Bible. But as I said, because of the dominance of the empire, the British Empire, with English, they translated a lot of things. We know from the book of the Bible of the King James Version. It was changed a few centuries ago, translated, and Jesus is the common name that we're aware of, but it's not the original name. And but we can trace that back to the domination of the empire, the British Empire, and English. I also talked about the region from which Jesus came, which relates to his appearance and his image, and that the image that we have of Jesus that's displayed in photos and pictures and statues and so on is false, and that it cannot be that he was a Caucasian, because the Middle East is not Europe. I refer to the fact that his parents escaped with him as a child to Egypt, and that the fact that in Egypt the people of a darker hue, if Jesus was a Caucasian appearance, then they would not be able to fit in and escape being traced. And then there's, of course, the Bible description that I did not mention to you, but I will share it with you now. Very important and very good to establish actually the appearance of Jesus Christ, what he looked like. If you look at Revelations 1, first chapter, verse 14 and 15 will give you a picture of who we're talking about. It says here, his head, this is referring to Jesus' appearance to John of Patmos, the angel. There is described as his head and his hairs were white, like wool, right? Firstly, Caucasian people don't have woolly hair, like wool, as white as snow. Okay, that's fine, the color of the hair, and his eyes were as a flame of fire. Okay, that's describing something about his eyes. Here's the thing. Verse 15 says, and his feet like unto fine brass. Now the color of brass we know. It cannot be white, cannot be light. The color of fine brass, and then here, as if they burned in a furnace. Now if something burned in a furnace, it would actually even get darker. So this here refers to Jesus Christ's appearance, and it debunks, it dispels the notion that he appeared like a Caucasian. And I think it's a very important point. Some people say, no, why must you bring these kind of things up? No, this is very important. I showed you, for instance, the reason why it was changed. Remember, the victor always wants to write history and describe society and change things to fit his own image. And this is the case in the past. Remember also, I even gave you the example of slavery. You know, Africans were captured in West Africa, and you know that story. You can look at my previous video, and they were transported across the Atlantic to the Americas, where they were sold as slaves. Now, who's the people that did that type of thing? Who were the perpetrators? That domination that I referred to went on for centuries. It's because they changed these facts of the appearance of Jesus and his name, etc., according to their liking and their comfort, because they were a class driven society. So that was what I covered the last time. Today I want to expand on this term empires, because I referred to the British Empire and I referred to the American Empire, which now exists today. The British Empire is no more, but it was so strong and dominating that the English language is still vastly spoken across the world. For instance, it dominated the world in terms of language there, English. Outside of China, for instance, that English is basically the most spoken and the most common language of communication in the world. And that is as a result of the time of the height of the British Empire. The effects are still felt to this day. They also brought in the form of government that most countries have adopted, you know, the parliament system. They got a name for it. I can't seem to get the name now. They formed colonies across the world. That's why the influence and the English and the law is everywhere. And the colonies, after they lost their power, have now still have that connection and relationship through what is termed the Commonwealth. The Commonwealth. So you'll see, just in summary, that the name in Jesus is a result of all of this that I've just described now, and the appearance of Jesus, because the victor always has the last say about how things are going to look, and changed everything to fit their narrative. And as I said, I'm going to expand now on this term empires, because it connects to the word kingdoms and the beast. So I'm going to try and show you that the beast of Revelation 13 is a system of government. It's a rule of government, and it is related to the word empires. Okay, later on, when I do touch on or go into Daniel, he refers to kingdoms, okay, the Syrians, the Babylonians, the Egyptians, etc., etc., the Romans, Greeks, the Greek empires. Those can be referred to as kingdoms, as well as they can be called empires. And I want to dispel the notion that the beast, the word beast in Revelations 13 is an animal. It's not an animal, it's a system of government, it's rule. So I'm stressing now this point because, as I said initially, if the foundations and the basics of the topic are not established, you know, foundations, then lots after that is actually not understandable, or not available for the insight that's necessary. You'll not be able. You cannot understand this point about the beast, that it's a system. A lot of your understanding will be compromised. So I want to suggest that for the next time I do talk about this, because it's quite a deep issue, read the chapter of 13, chapter 13 of Revelations, and perhaps in preparation, so that it becomes easier to understand this. But before I conclude here, just make sure that you do understand that the beast is not an animal; it's a system of government. It's an empire. It's a kingdom. It's this system. It's a system of rule, similar to the way the Syrians, the Babylonians, the Greeks, the Roman empires have conducted business in the world. And as I said, we've had now the British Empire, and then a daughter of that empire is the American Empire. And you'll see from what I'm saying to you here that the study and the awareness of history is paramount also for a better understanding of what's going on. History, unfortunately, in the school system, in some schools, it's become almost like like an elective subject. Children are given the choices to go into different streams, or in preparation for their further studies and careers. And so after maybe like grade 8, grade 9, grade 10, history doesn't become one of the subjects, but more like an elective subject. And when we study the Bible, it's very important to have an awareness of history and awareness of how history impacts on our understanding of the Bible. Remember also, just to give you this last point, the Bible is a history also. It's a history of a particular people, the Hebrews, the Israelites, and it talks about other nations, but the Israelites, the Hebrews, were a special people, because according to the covenants that were given in the book of Genesis and so on, their purpose on earth was to show the other nations of the world, to demonstrate to the other nations of the world how God governs man, how God governs nations and peoples. And so they were severely punished when they disobeyed God, and the other nations were supposed to look on and see, okay, that's the way God operates. That is who God is. God is not only a God of love, but a God of judgment and rules. It's not just like some people say, oh, God is not here, and things like that. God is actually ever present. Even wrong that happens in the world is allowed by God, because man has got free will. This is a very important concept to get a grip of, because unfortunately, hordes of people don't understand this concept that God is still on the throne and God rules. He allows, but He has the power to change. But He will not change certain things and intervene unless unless His people pray and beg Him to intervene. In most cases, He doesn't, because man has got free will. But He will judge. He will judge afterwards. So stay safe, and we will hear from you. See you at another occasion. Enjoy your day further.